Okay, so welcome to this divination today. Let's just ground ourselves into present moment. You're here because you need this reminder that you need to be kind to yourself. So let's just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Repeat again. Deep breath in, fill up to capacity. Very, very slow exhale and just ground everything from top of head down to feet. And then the last one, take a really deep breath and just ground into your body. As you exhale from the top of your head, just envision yourself just releasing your guards down, releasing any pretense down, and it just goes all the way down to the base of your feet. Start becoming more intentional with the way you engage with life. Sometimes it's fun to flow. And in that flow, you must understand that you are also building structure. And within that structure, it allows you to flow. So it's a constant process. As you move into the new structure needs to be formed in that environment, because there's different tools. Different tools give you certain structure and different tools give you certain flows. So it becomes this dance between the ups and the downs, the highs, the low energy, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, comfort, discomfort. And it's all a dance as energy moves, and you must understand that it's simply light with different perspectives. It's the absence of light, it's the dimming, it's the illuminating, and it's the full illumination. So it's a 4-part process that you're going through. So think of a square, but also think of 4 points on a circle. So as much as it's structure, it's also cyclical. So it's going like the seasons. It's going like your winter, then into your spring, then into your summer, and then into your autumn and back again. So it's square foundation, and then it's cyclical. So you keep going around. So you've got that foundation as like your base, okay? And that base forms a triangle too. Mind, body, soul. Those are your 3 connecting points: mind, body, soul. So it becomes very important to keep connecting to your breath and to steady yourself and to simply set your intention with everything, because everything that you do has a feeling. That outcome has a feeling. So let your effort follow that feeling, because if you start with the intention of chaos, basically if you don't start intentionally, consciously, you are allowing that chaotic energy to flow through you. And often, as you are perceiving things, it's like these antennas. We have so much sensory organs that allow us to tap into the outer field, outside of our own auric field, into the world at large. So when you think about people, you think your antennas are going to them, and then that energy, you are also absorbing them. So for some of you who are learning how to channel, this becomes important for you to understand that you need to start learning what is mine and what is theirs. What belongs to me, what doesn't belong to me. So every single time you think about someone, your antennas, spiritually, you have tapped into their portal already. Somehow they are also calling in your portal to help them heal from there. And then that's why you get driven to, hey, let me reach out to this person, or let me send this message, or whatever you need to do to reach out. Let's meet for coffee, whatever it is that makes you feel like it asserts your intuition. Okay. So as you're picking up, your spirit is there. and it's beautiful, but your body is here. And often, even when it comes to things like your goals, often you can get so frustrated because, like, you see it there, it's already happened, right? You already envision yourself like at the coffee shop, or you envision yourself owning your own art gallery, whatever it is. But then you have to get there, right? But then what stops you from getting there is your absorption of other people's energies and all the other energies that are resistant to that energy as you become a vibrational match. So you have to pass through these things. The typical thing when you ask God for patience, God will give you a line at the bank. Okay, you have to learn what patience is not. And you have to learn through every single season. As you move through the cycle, you go inwards down into the absence of light, and then it spirals back into the full illumination of the light. So we are constantly on the spectrum. That is why with the spiritual psychosis, you can experience completely different things, because some of you, as you're going into the absence of light, you are tapping into many lifetimes connected to your ancestral lineage that have stories for days, okay? Stories for days. That's why when you connect to people, there's always a story for something. There's always, why did you get hungry? There's a story for that. Why didn't you brush your teeth? There's a story for that. Why didn't you get up out of bed? There's a story for that. Why did you sleep late? There's a story for that. Do you understand? So everything has a story. And up until you hear your own stories, you're trying to, like, it's a feeding system with people. You're picking up their stuff and putting it as if it's yours. And that's why it becomes so important to ground yourself, because, you know, we are constantly receiving. So be kinder to yourself. Be kinder to yourself. Understand that the feedback system that you're looking for is simply confirmation. You're looking for someone to reaffirm that that was your intuition. And I need you to understand that there's so many layers to this, and it gets deep. It becomes more refined over time and over alignment with consistent practice. Remember, you have to practice yourself into being that which you desire to be. You have to align to that energy and practice the habits that this person will have when they are with a particular person, or they are at a particular place, or they have that particular thing. This is all play. And that's why I say everything is backwards, because you've been conditioned to believe you have to be perfect, and then they will tell you that practice makes perfect. And what it actually is practice reveals you're perfect. Because I said this the other day, it's like a callus. Your wounds create like scabs. And sometimes you can't see your skin past that wound when the scab is there. So we have these stories and we're collecting data. And it's just like, that's all beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But this is just about being kinder to yourself. That everything that you are perceiving and that you are rediscovering and uncovering is new. I'll share when I started remembering my trauma from young, from like 3, 4, that I was like molested. And it made me feel like I was crazy, because then I was just like, no, this didn't happen, because surely my family would have done something about it. Surely. So it must not have been true. And then I started blaming myself for what happened to me. Like, I was 3 or 4. It continued for a while, but like during that period, me thinking to myself, I blamed myself because no one said anything, even though if they knew. And it took me years to uncover that trauma, and to only at the age of 35 fully complete that cycle and go, okay, I can bring it up. I'm not embarrassed about it like I used to be. Because there's shame. There's certain things that you are uncovering that you don't even know existed, but you know exist. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately, you know it exists because that's why you are in this pursuit of healing, because some form of abuse happened to you. And as you uncover, we fall into the system that you're supposed to be perfect versus you needing to reveal you're perfect. So it's like we built this callus and they tell you to be perfect without giving you the tools of understanding that it's about revealing you're perfect. So this world is really, really backwards. Those of you who have experienced trauma, be kind to yourself. It's like this constant reminder where that's why I always used to struggle with the schooling system, because it is so one directional that for like at that time, that realizing that I was really different to my peers, my brain just doesn't think in linear only, you know. And it's great to have linear, but like it's like, what about the other perspectives that exist? There's more to this than meets the physical eye. So a reminder, be kinder to yourself. With these structures that were put in place, we were competed against a linear pathway. But as you go through your healing, you start to become more overwhelmed over time with certain things, because the more truth gets uncovered, the more pain you get to fully feel and heal. So that's why it becomes important for you not to escape. Don't escape the pain. Face it, because that's your healing. Each time you run to go engage with somebody, each time you go distract yourself with something, each time you look on your phone or whatever it is that you distract yourself with, you are running away from revealing your truth. Truth serum is challenging, but it is freeing. And you deserve that freedom. But it starts with intention to say, I am on a journey of healing myself. I am on a journey of uncovering things that I don't know exist. And I'm uncovering things and being able to speak up for myself with things that I know exist. But because I was never stood up for, I was learning how to stand up for myself. And I promise you that moment you learn how to stand up for yourself, it comes through practice. It comes through alignment, divine timing, when you are fully ready, when all those stories need to be healed. In order for you to be free, because in order for you to be free and to move forward, you can't have these rocks from your trauma that you're carrying around. That's why it's a process of you acknowledge your trauma. You shift it out of the body by using your voice, writing, singing, dancing, movement, expressing your emotions in ways that don't have to make sense to other people but yourself, as long as it allows you freedom and as long as it doesn't create harm to you or anybody else. Express yourself. But remember, be kind. Be kind. It's so important on this journey. It's a constant reminder when truth gets revealed, because the person who you are now is not the person who you are in totality. It's a limited expression of your pain. It's like emotion. It's like this condensed pain that sometimes you contract yourself and you start identifying with it. Instead of identifying with your pain, identify it by not running. and then name it, acknowledge it, feel it, and move on. Because it's here on purpose. You chose your family on purpose. You were soul contracted to go through this pain as a generational curse breaker. It's part of the process. It's not necessarily like all roses and unicorns jumping on rainbows. But when you come out of that and you learn how to reparent yourself, and you learn how to stand up for yourself, and you learn how to have your boundaries for yourself, I promise you, on the other end, I'm walking this path myself. On the other end is freedom to the max. And the more you step into the freedom, the more freedom comes. But if you escape your contraction, it follows you, because it becomes this like ripple effect. I'm getting this like image of this like bow and arrow. When you're trying to like hit that target, you have to pull it right back. And then as it pushes through, it targets. And if the target is not focused fully, it's not focused on fully, you can miss it. And if you don't have that strength of what pulls you back, then sometimes you won't hit the target. You need that tension. What you are learning now is how to find your center of gravity always. And how you're finding your center of gravity through the push and the pull. Okay? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you'd love to do a consultation and just a one-on-one to really just help you uncover and cut the cords of your trauma that you are experiencing as you uncovering it, so you can name it, you can feel it, acknowledge it, and let it and release it with so much love, because your pain, there's so much beauty to still be uncovered. Okay. Information is down below if you want to get in touch.